Greetings everyone, this is Elizabeth, and today we're going to take a project I did on watercolor paper 9x12 and make some of these miniature cards. Now this envelope that I just had in my stash, I think it was from my mom's stuff, is 6.5 by 3.5. So I don't have any card bases for this, so we're gonna make a card base to fit the envelope. And then we're going to chop up a 9x12 paper to fit multiple cards. Now, you may have seen on my Instagram, I had this wonderful sheet of paper that I decorated. We did some stamping, then we ink rolled over the top of it. And then I went over the top of that with some marker and some paint and some white splashes. Just some fun stuff to decorate the paper. Now the stamp fit perfectly, okay, into these three sections, and then a little bit here, a little bit here, and then I had this little area left. So when I was doing my stamping, I was fortunate. I wasn't paying attention, but it actually worked out that I had a straight line right here. So I was able to cut those apart, okay? Able to follow this particular stamp and then get this little bitty section. Then with this, I was able to cut down this way to separate those. And then I just chopped off the sentiments, making this little skinny guy here, and then I cut this in half. So basically, now I have 3 card panels, little tidbits, some sentiments, and this little slim guy that you can do anything with, but we're going to make a tag with it. So this is how it managed to work out. And you could do it any way you want. You can make little squares out of your paper and then make mosaics. I mean, the possibilities are endless. But this particular stamp was a 6x4 stamp area, okay? So 2 6x4s, and this one you can tell it didn't go all the way to the edge. Okay, so there's lots of trimming room for that one. And then this one was just a little tidbit, and then I used a stencil over the top. That's why this one's so different from everybody else. This one here, I used a distress ink dauber. They were really dry, and so trying to get them to come out, it was leaving interesting little marks. So all I did was trace them with a black marker. And I did use a Sharpie, and then I gave some of the panels some shimmer with my Arteza watercolors with the shimmer. Okay. And this is just a, like I said, a watercolor paper. This particular one is from Blick. You can get watercolor paper from anywhere. This one, this is one I bought to try and print on, I think, because it's way smoother than most of my other watercolor papers. And the smoothness, the tooth to it, it doesn't have a deep tooth like a lot of watercolors. So use what you have, you know. You can use mixed media. You can even do this with copy paper, okay? Just know you won't get as many pieces, but you can definitely use copy paper. And while I was chopping it up, I had some ideas for it. I'm going to make these 2 into cards, and then this is going to be a set where I make this a tag, put it on the card like a bookmark tag, and then give it a little pocket to sit on. A little, well, not a pocket, but like a little belly band to slide in and out of. So that's going to be a set. So we'll work on that together. But until then, let's chop up this paper to fit the envelope. Now, the way I do paper to fit an envelope is you first measure the envelope. Okay, so my envelope is 6.5 by 3.5. And it is a touch longer than that. I just rounded it down to the nearest big mark on here. Okay, nothing fancy. I just make it easy for me. That way there, I know it's going to fit. I don't want to round up. Okay, I want to round down. That way there, I know I have enough room. Now, let me grab my pencil. Okay, so we have 6.5 by 3.5. We want to take off 1/4 inch so that the paper will slide in. Okay, so we have 6.25 by 3.25. Okay, so here's my sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11. Okay, now one of these two sides we need to double. Okay, now when we double it, that's going to be our fold. So if we double the 6.25, okay, we double it this way, it's going to be 12.5. Okay, and then we would fold it this way and it would open up like this. Okay, now we don't have 12.5 paper, so we know we can't double this side, so this side is going to be the same. Then we have 3.25. That's this side. Okay, if we double it, we take 3.25, add 3.25. That means it's going to fold over like that. Pardon me. Oh, bless me. Sorry. So sorry. I could not hit the pause button. That sucker snuck right up on me. Woo! Pardon me while I sanitize my hands. All right. Yeah, I think I forgot to take my allergy pill this morning. Sorry about that. Okay, so 6.25, that's going to stay the same. So we're going to double up the other side, and we double both parts. So we start at the back side, just in case if this was 1/2 and 1/2, it's going to make a hole. But this is 1/4, and 1/4 makes 1/2. And then 3 plus 3 is 6. So 6.5 by 6.25. Almost square. So we're going to take our trimmer, if I can find it. So we're going to have our big old trimmer. Now don't panic, because you're basically only going to get one card out of this, but you'll have some really great pieces to make some stuff. Okay, I use a heavier card base. You can use whatever you want for a card base. Okay, so we're gonna go 6.5 by 6.25. Let us take the 6.5 off. Okay, the long side. Now let's take 6.25 off the long side. 6.25, and it doesn't matter. I mean, it's dang near square. Okay, 6.25. Now we're gonna do 6.5. 6.5. Okay, just like that. Now I want to, because it is almost square. Okay, this is my 6.5. I'm going to leave it right there for a moment. And I'm going to grab my score, the score thingy. Your scoreboard. You know that thingy. Okay, so this is my 6.5. And we're going to score it at 3.25, because this is the side we doubled. The side we double is the side we score. So I'm going to take it right over here, slide it down, and do 3.25, which is right there. Okay. Three and a quarter score. Okay. Now I'm not going to fold that, because this is the one I want to hang on to as my template. So then all I've got to do now is make 3 more. Okay, now look at this. Look at this lovely piece that's left. Don't throw this away. Don't throw this one away. Get yourself a little bin for white scrap pieces, because you can make little cards, you can make tags, you can make all sorts of stuff with this. If you're doing rubber stamps that you're going to die cut, right here. Load this up with stamps, die cut it, fussy cut, whatever you want to do. These are great. And this is your thicker paper. So, yeah, you'll have some great little die cuts there. Okay, so we did, on the long side, we did the 6 1/4. 6 1/4. Okay, and there is, I'm going to put this over here, just like that, because that's my in half size. So we're going to do 6 1/4. So when I flip it to 6 1/2, 6 1/2, okay, 6 1/2, I'm going to score it this way. Okay, so now I'm going to slide this right onto my template. My template is going in the right direction, so I know I can just pick that up and score it. 6 1/4, 6 1/2. And this is for my envelope. You're going to do the measurements for your envelope. You're going to measure your envelope, take off a 1/4 inch, and then do your trimming after you double the one side. Okay, 6 1/4. I do not know where these envelopes came from. They're a Mead 6 1/2. I think they're Mead. I think that's what the inside sticky says. But you try, yeah, Mead. Try your dollar store. Try, you can get specialty envelopes online. You can get them in colors. Okay. Now these look perfect. So no matter how I turn them, there's my guide right there on that very first one. Okay. You want to deal with one. That way there, when you stack them all up, okay, they're going to stack and then you're going to see that line. Do all your cutting first, except for that one. You always do your business, your template. Do your template first. Then grab your little score buddy. This one is a We Are Memory Keepers. It's folded in half. I don't need to unfold it. Okay. So look at that. Okay. And then we know that we need to score at 3 1/4. Okay. So we go 3 1/4. And this is thicker paper, so I go over it a little bit more. The thinner paper, you only need to go over it once. 3. And the thicker paper, you definitely want a little more pressure because it goes off track really easy. So 3 1/4. Why does that feel like it's crooked? It's not. 3 1/4. Oops. Almost went through the paper on that one. Pushed a little too hard. Okay. You score everybody, stack them all up, flip them over. Okay. It helps the fold if this bump, the raised area, is on the inside. Okay. You flip. Now, if I push right here, it's not lined up down here. So I'm just going to shove everything into the corner, maybe. Okay. Ooh, this one, it might not be a perfect, some paper is crooked. It doesn't matter how well you cut it, the paper itself is crooked, okay? So this one has a teeny little hangover. I'm not going to cry about it. It's minute, but it's even all across, so that one was a good one. So we just fold it. Haha, somebody misfolded that one. Okay. Ooh, I really misfolded that one, but that's okay. I'm not going to panic and I'm not going to throw it away. What I'm going to do, I cut it wrong, I think. What did I do? Yep, I cut it wrong. See that? I cut it too short. But don't panic. This one, you just decorate right here. So when you close it, you get this nice little thing. And then you open it. These are just fine, just like that. Okay. And I'm not even going to fix it. I'm not going to cut another one. I'm just going to make my card fit that, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay? So we'll deal with the boo-boo first so we can get it out of the way. Okay? Right there. Now, I go into the post office to mail my cards. I don't let them get picked up, because some of them I want hand stamped or I need to double check the weight. This is 110-pound paper. This is watercolor paper that is 140 pounds. When you put these together, it makes a rigid envelope, which means there's not a lot of bend, which means they may or may not make you hand cancel them because it will not go through their machine. Okay, so thick on thick on thick is going to cost you extra to mail. Not only that, but the weight of it. After your first ounce, they tack on more postage. So keep that in mind. You may not want to do this in watercolor. I did because I did a brayering method with some paint. But again, you can also do that with copy paper to keep it a little bit lightweight. Now, this... Which one? See, at this point you can mix and match. Because this one's so dark, I think I'm going to do that. Make my tag set out of that. And then I like this one. I like that it dang near fits in there anyways. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over and I am going to mark it. Okay, I'm just going to eyeball it. I don't need perfect measurements. If you're selling these on Etsy or in your own website, okay, you can put a disclaimer, handmade, not precise, which means flaws are no extra cost. Their flaws are included. Okay, nothing wrong with a little bit of flaws. Blah, blah. Nothing wrong with a little bitty flaw. Okay, so I got my new Tim Holtz. Look at it, isn't it pretty? My dear, never met in person friend Stacy sent it to me, and she got it by accident. Oh, look at that. You just give it. Beautiful, isn't it? Now, I don't want to lose this little thing, but they shipped her the wrong one. She had ordered the new deckled one, and she sent me that, which, if you've watched my videos, you know I have one similar, but I have the Fiskars. I'm going to clean it up, and somebody out there is going to win this when I hit 500 subbies. So, pass along the video. Okay, so now we have this little guy, and see, that didn't take any trimming. I just had to snip off the end, okay? Now, this is where I'm talking about, right here. Okay, you can add a strip of color right in there. Okay, just like that. Okay, and it's going to be the same height because we already have that. We're going to tuck it in. Now, this is where you make your decision for the inside. Do you want a big fatty piece, okay? Or do you want it thinner? And I'm thinking I want mine just a little bit thinner. I'm going to flip it over again, okay? That way there I can see, there's, I'm eyeballing, okay? I'm eyeballing. So that's going to close and give me a little piece. When it closes, I don't want to cut it too small. I don't want to cut it there. I want to cut it just inwards, right there, okay? So now I have a little bitty mark. Oh my goodness, here, let me zoom in. I had it zoomed out to see everything. But now we can be more detailed, okay? Now, with all these paper trimmers, even my little Fiskars guy, okay? You have a guide in there to keep your fingers safe. And what I've done is I should have went in this way. Go in this way. Get your little dot right to your cutting area, and notice that that dot is lined up with this line. So if I go down and I see it's not lined up with this line, I just adjust it, okay? Then you can put your weight on the little guide here, because that guide is going to hold your paper. Oops, quit moving stuff. Okay, so now my paper's not going to go anywhere. See that? It's not going anywhere. So I hold it nice and tight. You keep your fingers on the opposite side of the, there's a little stopper there. And choppy choppy. That's it. Okay. Oops. This is probably the hardest part, is getting your paper back out. Okay. So we have now 2 strips, and then you can readjudge. Are you okay with the thin one, or do you want the thicker one? And I am going to use the thicker one. Okay, easy peasy. Watercolor paper is super stiff. Doesn't need glued all over the place. So I'm just going to use my score tape, just like so. Maybe a teeny one in the middle. Nothing fancy. Just like that. Okay, peel this back. Peel that back. And then we're gonna just give it an even border. Not even that way. And I'll explain why I do the inside first. Okay. So now, right about there. Okay. And something got a little bit gooey right there. So I'm just going to take a little eraser and erase that. Okay. See that? Now this is why I do the inside first. So that when I go to, oops, it's a little bit too long. Put that right there. When you go to line up the outside with the inside, okay, why am I, okay, that's plenty. Keep losing my train of thought. Don't mind me. My brain just took a vacation. Okay, so when I close this up, okay, I can see that little piece right there, and I know I can come right here with the top and line that up. Okay, if I did it in reverse, I wouldn't be able, because this would be open, I wouldn't be able to see. Okay, and there it is. And now when you have the choice, you can do it this way or you can do it this way. Okay, and then we grab one of our little sentiments that we stamped out. Creativity takes courage. Be your beautiful self. Today is full of possibility. Yes, it is. There is beauty in simplicity. And that one's stamped crooked. So you know what? That's all right. You know what? I think this needs a little white trimming too. And see, look at that. We have a piece of paper to help us. Come here, tape. I need your assistance. Okay, we can put this little tape on. Just like so. And I'm going to put this in, oops, put that in there. Kind of eyeball that. And eyeball again. I'm checking this line, the spacing between the line and my paper so that it's even. Okay. And there we go, a nice white trimming, because I have so much other going on, and maybe I'm not digging on that. Hold on, let me think. Do I want it? I think I made it too fat, so I'm just gonna come in here and trim it just a little bit more. There we go. I like that better. Okay. And then you can decide where you're going to put it. And I'm thinking right there. Right there. And I wish you guys could see this in person, because I'm using heavy cardstock with heavy cardstock. Even just one layer gives it so much depth. It's pretty cool. So that's one thing you can think about when building up cards. But just know, the heavier the paper, the more it's going to cost to mail. And I'm kind of debating if I want it to line up with the white out there. I think I do. Just like that. Okay. Look at that sandwich. Can we? It's pretty thick. It's pretty cool. Just like that. And then you can, Miss Chow sent these beautiful goodies, and then I was like, how do you deal with these? Because they're so teeny weeny. And somebody was like, what? So she sent one of these too. Okay, maybe, there it is. Get this little bad boy open. I'm so excited. And this is from Amazon. Miss Stacy. She's like, well, you need a jewel picker for your jewel. Oh my goodness. Wow. Look at that. Oh, isn't that pretty? Okay. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, these say, what does this package say? It says General Care Rhinestone P on tool with 2 wax head. So these are a wax tip, and they just screw on. Look at that. And then it's got jimmies on the inside of it. And then this funny little, I don't know what that is on the other side. But, okay. So we're going to get our Barely Arts glue. We're going to change the tip on this because Barely Arts has 2 fun tips. Okay, they just untwist. This is their super fine tip, which I always glue. If you find that it is sticking, you just give a little twist while you pull. There's some glue built up in the bottom of this. Okay, and then go from the bottom. Make sure. Ooh, I pulled that glue right through. Come on. We want, I don't know if you can see it, but there's glue in there. And you just kind of play with it. I'm going to grab my little pointy pickers. No, I do not know where I got them, but they work good for digging out glue. And you're thinking, well, if you have a pin in there, what's the point if it still takes up glue? Well, if I didn't have the pin in there, it would be extra hard to get a pin through there if there was glue. Okay. And it's being a little sticky because, come on. There we go. Do you see that the little bit of glue just got stuck on there? So I'm going to clean it off before I pull it back through. Get that little bit of glue. See that right there? Okay. See now how much easier? If you didn't have this pin in here to help stop it, and I could have cleaned it before taking that out, you're always going to have buildup. Even with this one, if I leave it out all day, because when it's on the container, it's still wet. Okay, that is still wet glue. Now, if I leave it out, it's going to get cakey. You can clean out the cake and then pull it out. If you don't have a pin in there, that glue on the inside is going to dry. And then you won't have any way to get it out because that pin is not strong enough to get back in there. Well, this pin isn't. You'd have to go find a heavy-duty pin to try and break through. Okay. Sorry for that little lesson, but it is important. If you're not using your glues, to put a pin in it. Okay. And I got my pins off of Facebook out of the Foiling Snobs Club. I had mine custom colors because I love greens. By Gloria Wolf. If you're in the FSC, you can look up Gloria Wolf and she'll get you hooked up. Or if you're in Australia or outside the US, she also sells them at Crafty Critta. So those links will be, FSC and Crafty Critta will be in my description. F and G. This is a good reason to put a lid on things that you're not using. Okay, let's try this. Get it on an envelope. Okay, we can funnel it in. All my jimmies into my hand. Okay. Are they pretty? And Chow says that these, or Stacy and Chow say that these are rhinestones for fingernail art. So you can use them in your fingernail art or your cards, because these are super low profile. I mean, they're not gonna poke out. They're just gonna add some extra bling. Pardon me while I pick these little boogers up, okay? And then we'll get back to card making. Good grief. Yeah, I'm not cutting this out because, you know, this stuff, this stuff happens. This is what happens. Okay, so here's, oh, I picked it up. How fun. So we're going to grab our little glue. Just get a teeny bit of glue and, doop. That's actually too teeny. There we go. That would have goozed out a little too much. So I'm actually going to there we go. I did push a little too hard on my wax tip, and I can mold that right back, so that's nice. Do I have another one laying out? Yes, I do. Chase these little boogers down. So a very light tap, super light squeeze. Well, maybe a little bit more. I do want to cover the back of that. Okay. Okay, I may have to practice at using this because I just flipped it around. Okay, let's try this again. Very light touch, very light touch. Maybe I'll put the glue down here. I think that's what I see everybody do. Okay, okay, there we go. Super light touch to pick it up, and then a teeny drop of glue. Okay, because the glue does dry clear. It's still, I think my hands are too hot or it's too warm up here. There we go. We just tap it just ever so slightly and it knocked that right down. Very, very cute. Very simple, very, that was it. This was pre-made paper, chopped it up, and the card's done. Okay, we have our little bitty piece on the inside. Let that sit back there and dry. Put that right in there. Okay, get our lid back on this. Get some of these little papers out of the way. Get my little jewel picker back in its case so I don't melt. I don't want to melt the plastic. Right there. Okay, so pardon me while I clean. And this is a good thing, you know, after you make some cards, just tidy up, because it can easily overwhelm at the end, you know, so much stuff out and whatnot. Okay, so now we have this one. These are our scraps, which we can do so much with, so we're going to hang on to those. We're going to grab our next card base. And again, we're going to flip, actually I wanted this side. No, it doesn't matter. So this one's going to be a little bit bigger border, and we're going to be okay with that. We're going to come over here. We're going to mark it. Okay, and then that one goes with that one. And then this one is going to be our little, I'm going to cut off this side. So I'm going to hold that so I know to cut that off. Okay. We're going to eyeball it to fit on here. We're going to snip off there. Okay, and this one is going to go for that one. on here, line that up, get that little cut right there onto my, right at the metal. Okay, hold everything down, fingers on this, chop down. That's gonna go for that card, and then this one, put its little scrap over there in case I decide I need to use it. Get that little mark by the metal. Make sure that I have even, you can kind of see it's not even. There we go. Hold everything down. Now, right there, you saw it get hooked up, but if we look on this side, it was because I had a dot right there. And I'll show you. See, that's what it got hooked up. My thick white splashy. Okay, so this one goes to this one. We're going to, if you don't have score tape, oops, wrong tip. Now this is the fine tip. Okay, I'm going to switch that out. I think I want to get a second one of these so I don't have to switch my tips out. This one is going to allow more glue through. And you can use any kind of glue, okay? The dollar store has some Aleene's tacky glue. That's a good brand for the dollar store. They have this, which isn't too bad. They had another one in another video. That one was crap. Don't buy that one. I think it's a long skinny tube of glue. That one was yucky. I have it in a video. It didn't work very good. Okay, so if you don't have double stick tape, you can use glue. Oops, come on. Okay, now see, I put a little bit too much glue, so it's oozing out right there. Don't touch it, okay? Push down with something to pick up the glue and then push away, okay? And if you get a little bit on your card, you can get your eraser and just erase it. Now this I got at the dollar store too. You can look for one of these. It is a glue eraser. So see, it just erased all that glue. And then that one, okay, that one's done. Isn't that wonderful? You put a little sentiment on it. Okay. And then again, we're gonna do a white, and remember we had a little bit of this left. Ooh, that looks good. I like that. So we're going to use our little bit of glue. Maybe. If you can't pick it up, turn it over and pick it up with the paper. I like that. Big, bold. Okay. Oh, getting glue everywhere. Okay. Then we just stick it on there, kind of eyeball for center. And then that one is done. Oops. So yeah, you can see I touched something and got gooey goo on there, so I'm going to use my little glue eraser just like that. A little rougher on that one, that's all right. There, good as new. Okay, so that one's all ready. Here comes our next one. And you don't need a ton of glue, especially these fancy glues. You pay a lot of money for them, for a reason. You pay that money because you don't need a ton of it. Okay. See how easy? Once you get everything chopped up and ready to go, you can just bounce and make a ton of these. Now here's the fun thing. Okay. You remember that piece of paper we cut our card base out of? You could cut your front panel right out of it. You could do this in a bunch of squares and do a mosaic. So you can take this, ink it up, play with it, colorize it, and then make your card base right out of it. And you'd have some extra left over. So there's a place for sentiments. There's a place for if you just want to make stripes on your cards. That's why I say don't throw those pieces away, and don't panic if you're only getting one card base out of it. Okay? Because there's still so much to do with it. Oh, we need our sentiment. Let's see. Let's see if this little scrap from doing the other ones. This one almost fits. But you know what? I have a lot of room. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to snip a little bit closer. Little bit closer. Okay, and now this little scrap that we had from those other ones is going to fit beautifully. So we're going to glue her up. I don't want to play around with picking it up, so I'm just going to lightly pick it up that way. Get it in the center. Okay, a little bit of glue popping out over there. You can use a towel, you don't have to use a napkin. That napkin's been sitting there for a few days. Because after the glue dries, it's not sticky anymore. It's not going to do anything. Unless you saturate the napkin. Okay. And then this side is just a little bit too long. So we're going to snip that. Okay. And it's a little bit crooked, but my stamping was a little bit crooked. So this one, I think I'm going to put this one right here, just down at the bottom. Okay, so we have 3 cards out of 1 background. Isn't that lovely? Sentiments and all out of it. So it's all matchy-matchy. And if you're finding that it didn't stick, because I didn't hold it down, and then I just added too much glue. Okay. Put some pressure on your project. Like so. Like so. And then here is this one. Oops, I messed up. That's all right, because we're going to have our tag and our belly band. So I was supposed to use one of these as a background, but what I'm going to do is, you know what would be fun? We're going to pull out that stamp. Do I have that handy? Where's that stamp? Yep. I'm going to use that base stamp. Okay. So this is the base stamp that okay. All of this tracing is of this stamp. This is a Tim Holtz stamp. And what I'm going to do is it doesn't cover the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it and then reposition it a little bit. And we're going to use some Stays On. Okay. And we're going to get our little handle so I don't get black everywhere. Okay. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. And then we're going to decide the front of this card. Now I'm going to be very careful because I don't want the inside of my card to get inky. Okay. And what you can do is grab a scrap piece of paper. Okay. Set that little guy aside. I'm going to take a scrap piece of paper just like that, so that I don't get ink on the inside of my card. And then I can smush it all around. Okay. Then I'm going to lift. And then I have a little bit of area that didn't get inked, and I have this harsh line. Technically, what I should have done is not pushed hard at this end and had something like that, but that's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. It's not going to be a terrible, terrible disaster. Move that. So now I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to pick up, I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay, there we go. And then I can come in right here, get some of that. And it's grungy, so it doesn't matter if you get some overlapping. See? Look at, isn't that wonderful? So we're gonna put our, if you get hairs, don't ignore them, okay? You need to do haircuts on these. Where are my tweezers? There you are, okay? See this little hair, even though it's just hanging out, it is actually wicking. It wicks the ink away. And I'll show it to you, okay? I'm not pushing on that, so I'm not pushing it into the ink. Okay, but watch this. Look how much ink is in there, okay? That is one little, it's sucking the ink out of your pad. So if you have these little hairs and they're outside, okay, and then you close this lid on it, whatever this touches will absorb ink, okay? So definitely pull those little hairs off. Give your little stamp, your felt pads a haircut, okay? Because you don't want all of that beautiful ink going nowhere and sucking your pad dry. Okay. Whew, almost got that inky. So I want to clean this. Stays on, will not come clean, okay? All you're going to do is make sure that you get the top layer of ink off, so that if you go to do a color, it's not going to rub off. Okay? So you can test it to see if it's clean. And I missed this spot. Use a rag. Throw these rags in the wash with like dirty rags. Just make a pile of them. Send them through the wash. Don't send them through with your good shirts or your white clothes. Okay. And then there's that. That is all nice and clean. All right. So we have this. We'll have this tag in color, and then we're going to have the belly band in color. But my belly band, I just want a little bit skinnier. Okay. So I'm going to take off about that much. Make it a 2.5 inch belly band. Okay, now my belly band, can only be as wide as the card. And remember, that's 3 1/4. So I can come up here and do 3 1/4. And there's my belly band. But it's a little too wide for me still. So I'm going to do a 2-inch belly band. Okay. That's just enough to hold the tag in place, which I'm going to have tape on either side of my belly band, so this needs to go through. So I'm going to take off a 1/2 inch. We're at 3, so we're going to do 2 1/2 inch bookmark tag. Okay. So then there's that, and that's, yep, that's going to slide right in there, just like so. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get my thinner score tape, just so I have extra room to play. Okay, this tape, the red back stuff, is super sticky. I love this stuff. And I'm just going to line it up right to the edge. Maybe. If things want to work with me today. Right to the edge. Okay. I'll get my glue scissors. Yes, I have a dedicated pair of scissors to gluey things, so I don't have to clean my scissors in between usage. Okay. Because gluey stuff does build up. Okay. There we go. And if you have a little bit, you don't even have to trim that little bit off, because what you can do is you peel, maybe, come on, you peel your backing, okay, and then you just fold it over. Ta-da! Now it's out of the way, and you don't have to deal with that little bit of stickiness. Oh, you didn't even see. I'm out of frame. Oy vey. So yeah, if you have a little bit sticking off, you can snip or you can flip. Snip or flip. And then our belly band, we want to see where we want to put it. And I want it right about there. Just like so. Okay. That actually looks neat, the color on the black and white. Okay. And because this has glue right there, I'm going to use my glue scissors. Just snip that so it, there we go. That glue isn't sticking out. In the garbage, we've got our little tag, and all we're going to do is make a corner, okay? Just like that. It doesn't matter, because then we're going to take our corner and flip it over, okay? Just like that. And you can trace it or you can hold it, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to hold it. And now I've got 2 corners of my tag. And I'm actually going to trim this down just a hair. So I made it a little too narrow. If I flip it over. There we go. Okay. And then we get our hole punch. Not a teeny weeny hole punch. We want a good size hole punch. I've got a ginormous one. And we just kind of eyeball the center. Haha. Nice big old tag. And this tag, okay, you could spruce up the back of it. So you could print something on the back, do whatever you want, put some fluffy ribbon and stuff there, and then you have a tag, a bookmark gift card. How fun is that? then you can fill it out in here. And now, if you're going to do some ribbon and stuff, you may want to make your card a little bit smaller. Okay, because it's going to add a lot of bulk. Okay. So if I add, that's what it's going to look like. But it fits. It's ready to go. And that is what we did with our 9 by 12 sheet of fun stamped painted paper. Okay. All of that from one sheet of decorated paper. Could you imagine just sitting there and decorating papers all day, and then the next couple of days just make some wonderful cards? Okay. This matches. It can be a set. You can send it all as a gift set. Okay. They can choose to give them away or keep them for themselves as a little inspiration. So I hope you enjoyed. Sorry the video was so long, but you know, that's me. I don't even know why I apologize for that. I want you here to see the process, what I do, and if I make boo-boos, that's what happens, you know. A lot of crafters, they cut that out because they know, well, they hope that everybody knows that they make mistakes too, and they do their editing so that you see the good final project. But I don't think there's enough videos anymore that are just long that you can just craft with. So I'm that crafter. You can craft with me. And if you're making something while I'm making something, definitely post it. Post it at the Chat with Sassy Facebook page. I would love to see what you have. Until next time, have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.